Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for talking about those norms. Now we're going to move on to the next part of our discussion, which is goal and structures. If you scroll down to that part of your Google Doc, first you will see the language from the goals that you all suggested that we would like to use to guide this work. I obviously couldn't get every single word that all of you said, but some really strong themes emerged. You said you wanted a teacher community that fosters collaboration, readiness, empowerment, and innovation. You also talked about focusing on a student community that has purpose, understanding, joy, and rigor. And so I think if those are the 8 words that are guiding all of our work together, we're going to be in amazing shape. Then we asked you to suggest some structures, and there were 2 that really stood out as overall structures. One was a wellness check, and the other was making sure that we give everyone a chance to speak. So those are things we can do no matter what way we decide to pursue these goals. But now we really want to ask you to choose those specific ways. And so if you scroll further down, you'll see where I wrote specific structures you suggested. And what I tried to do here was I took all the responses on your survey and tried to kind of group them together. And I didn't do a perfect job, please forgive me, but basically these were the 12 things that really came up. Practicing lesson delivery. 2 ways. First, with a focus on the beginning, like all the technology of the opening, the turn and talk, naming the steps. Or second, with a focus on giving feedback in Nearpod and feedback in Edulastic. Another thing you suggested was coming with exemplary work and then talking about naming the steps. Another word for that is criteria for success, but really planning what we want to see. Another suggestion, looking at data, reflecting and planning our response to error, previewing exit tickets to plan how to address likely errors and student misconceptions, sharing what's going well, sharing a question or a challenge and getting advice, naming the math truth, big idea or takeaway for each lesson, looking for ways to add student voice and planning questions, sharing ways to enrich lessons, engage students, have fun, brainstorming prerequisites, scaffolds and differentiation, and watching coach demos. All of these structures sound like really wonderful ways to pursue the things we discussed above: collaboration, readiness, empowerment, and innovation. But there are some that probably feel more or less comfortable for you and that seem like they're going to be more effective. Sometimes people think about these things on an ease impact graph, where we talk about something being low impact or high impact, easy and hard. And of course, we would want things in this category. We want things that we think are going to be really high impact, but also easy. We definitely don't want things that aren't going to have a really big impact and be really hard. Eventually, we're going to ask you to vote on your top 3 choices from this list, the top 3 things you really want to do in our content team meetings. But before we do that, we're going to go into breakout rooms, and we'd like to ask you to discuss: which structures are you leaning towards? Why? Which structures are you hoping we won't do? Why? This is really your chance to brainstorm with people on your team so that we can create the best structures in our content team meeting possible. And from there, Suzanne and I will take those and facilitate meetings for us for the next few weeks. One other really important thing to keep in mind is that this isn't permanent. We're going to try it for 6 weeks, and then we're going to reflect again and decide if we want to keep going or change it. So nothing is going to be set in stone. This is just going to be the best idea we can come up as a team for right now.